I'm going through right now. Because I have never... Everything I'm going through right now with the ectopic side, I don't know anyone who's been through the same. Until this morning actually, and someone who'd been through it helped me and helped me realise that people do actually go through this. It's just not spoken about, and I think it should be. I don't understand why this is such a taboo subject, that it's something you should feel ashamed about if you have a miscarriage or if you go through something that does. So I'm just going to start from the beginning. So I've been with the fertility clinic now since July 2017. I always knew that I needed help. When I was younger, I was on and off contraception, never fell pregnant. From the age of 19, I was never on anything. It wasn't until I got a bit older, I think it was about 25, I wanted some answers, so I went to the doctors. And then when I got with Michael, me and Michael tried straight away because I knew I wanted to be with him. I knew I wanted that. I had laparoscopy and blue dye done to check my tubes, everything was fine. And then came down to, I didn't ovulate, I didn't release my eggs, and I got put on medication called Clomid to help me do that, to help my body. It's hormones pumped into your body to help your body realise that you need to release that egg. Was working. A year down the line, a year down the line I fell pregnant. So this was October, I found out I was pregnant. And I was really excited, I thought, because I'd had such a hard journey to fall pregnant. I mean, 3.5 years. I thought, this is my time. Everything's going to go smoothly because I've had such a hard time to fall pregnant. And then at 5 weeks I started bleeding. And I was searching everything on the internet. I was like, what could it be? Could it be implantation, late implantation? At this point, I was only 5 weeks. I didn't know anything really about pregnancy. I just knew I always wanted a baby. So I was Googling what it could be, and then the cramps started, and 3 days later, I lost my baby. The first time I went to my midwife appointment was to tell them I think I'd had a miscarriage the day before. I had tests done, and my HCG, which is your hormone level inside your body, that had dropped. So my miscarriage was done, I was fine to go home. And then 3 months later, I had no idea that I would be pregnant because I'd been really relaxed and not tried, and I fell, and I tested and I got my first positive on the 21st of February. So I was really happy, but I was really nervous in case the same thing happened to what happened to me last time when I lost my baby. It did affect me a lot by every time I went to the toilet I'd check, see if there was any blood, because I was really panicking that this would happen, and I was scared to tell anyone this time that I was pregnant, and I didn't tell any of my friends or anything in case it happened again. And it wasn't until last Wednesday I started bleeding again. I rang 111, spoke to them. They told me if it got any more, I had to go to the walk-in at Darlington, the women's centre, and I went the next day because it hadn't stopped, it had got worse, and they tested me there and then. I had ultrasound, I had the cervical examination, my cervix was still closed, so it looked like my baby was still there. My HCG was done, and then I had repeated HCG on 2 days later, and it had only risen by a short amount, and in that time it's meant to double. So they said, like, a miscarriage is inevitable, and I was like, that's fine, like, I'll deal with it. I dealt with it last time. So I came home, and that night I bled a lot more, and I had big clots. I was in a lot of pain, and the pain eased off after I'd lost the clots, which I assumed was my baby, and I thought, that's it, my miscarriage is done. That's finished now. I had to go back for blood tests on Monday to make sure everything was gone and my hormone level was coming down, and when I went, it had tripled, which means that my baby's still growing. And I was really confused because I was sure that I lost my baby on the Saturday, and I showed them a picture, and I was like, I don't understand what's going on, how, like, and in my head I felt a bit positive. I was like, maybe I'm out of a bad situation. I was pregnant with twins and I lost one, and I've still got the other one. That, like, in my mind I just couldn't work out what was happening, and I was staying up all night on forums, and I couldn't sleep because I was just googling everything that it could possibly be, and no one had that symptom where they'd passed something and been in a lot of pain, and the pain's eased off and the HCG is still rising. So I went back to hospital and had a scan yesterday, and they kept me and they admitted me to hospital, and they mentioned that it could be ectopic. Now, I know about ectopic because the only reason I know about it is Charlotte Crosby's book. I've read it a couple of times, and she talks about what she went through. It's like, please no, like, I don't want to lose my tube. I was so terrified, thinking, like, would I ever have a baby? I don't have any babies, that's all I want. And they came in last night to say it was ectopic, and I had to choose whether to get my tube removed or to have the injection, which will terminate the pregnancy. And this injection, it's used in chemotherapy. So basically, my immune system will be down for a few months. Obviously I can't try again in that time, which I understand, but I was so confused because I'd never had, I was reading forums in the middle of the night trying to find someone who had had my symptoms where they'd lost something and then was still having this rise in HCG to say that they're pregnant, and I didn't know what was going on, and I was so scared, and I still am. I don't know what's going to happen after this. I'm hoping that my body reacts well to it. So tomorrow I'll be going back in hospital, and I've decided to try the injection. If the injection doesn't work, then I have to get my tube removed. But they've said that this is the right choice, and I just think, why is this such a taboo subject? Why does no one talk about this? When I went through my first miscarriage, that's the only time that I realised that some people close to me had been through it as well. And it's nice to be able to talk to someone that has been through it, or people that have got happy endings afterwards. It's just such a scary thing, and I think, why can't we talk about it? And it'll help the emotional side of it, and you realise what's going on in your body and realise what's going on, so that you can move past it and grow. And I just want to raise more awareness of ectopic and the struggles behind falling pregnant and trying to have a baby, and that women do struggle, and it's not okay to tell someone that your baby, that don't worry, it's not a baby yet. When you fall pregnant and see that first positive, you're already invested in being a mum. You are a mum. In your head, you're a mum now. Like, there's nothing else about it. Why is it okay for someone to say, don't worry, it's not a baby yet? It is in your head, in your heart. As soon as you get that positive pregnancy, that is your baby. You are a mum, and it's not okay to ask people when they're going to have a baby, because you don't know the struggles that go on behind the doors and how many breakdowns and nights you cry yourself to sleep. And one of the things that helped me is being around babies, and it does make me sad because that's what I want, but it makes me happy because I'm happy someone else has got that love of this perfect little baby that they can look after and help grow. And that has helped me being around babies, and it does make me sad when I see people announcing it, but I'm still happy for everyone who does go through it. But nobody talks about the heartache it is to get there. And I'm just basically trying to say that it's okay to go through this and to be scared and not know what's happening to your body. Like, I wish I would lie in bed and I'd just say, I wish I knew what was going on. And I'd say to myself and I'd pray out loud, please, please let this baby survive. Let me have this baby. And obviously it's just not meant to be sometimes. But it's okay to feel like that. And it's okay to go through this. And just sometimes talking about it does help you. I mean, my friends have been really supportive, and I'm lucky that I've got supportive friends and family, and they've been there for me. Since I thought I had my miscarriage, and I told them, they've been there for me. But it's such a petrifying time because when I go into hospital tomorrow, I don't know what the outcome is going to be. I don't know how it'll end up. But talking to other people who have been through it has helped me. And I just think that it needs more awareness that we do actually go through this and we do have these struggles. And it's okay to go through it. And you shouldn't feel ashamed the fact that you can't grow this baby, because everyone has the struggles, just nobody talks about it. And sometimes talking about it does help it. I'm going to be raising awareness for ectopic as I'm going through it, and trying to help people who are in the same situation so they don't feel as alone as I did, not knowing what was going on with my body. For 2 days I grieved the loss of a baby I thought I'd lost, to get the call on Monday to say my HCG levels were rising, and I didn't have a clue why. I didn't understand it. I thought, when I went to the hospital yesterday, I thought I was going to see a baby on the screen. I thought everything was going to be okay. And I was saying to myself, this is a sign. This is a sign that everything's going to be okay. And the last thing I expected was to be told it was going to be ectopic. Knowing that that could make me lose a tube and basically make me have less of a chance of having that end result that I want. And I'm terrified. But it's okay to feel like this, and we're okay to go through this. Sorry. I just think women need someone to talk to as well, and you shouldn't have to hide who it is, or who you are, or what you're going through, because so many people go through this. And it is heartbreaking, and keeping it to yourself and having no one to speak to is hard. And the more you talk about it, the more people won't feel ashamed about going through it. And they won't be scared to. And when I fell pregnant this time, I started a blog before, obviously I started bleeding and stuff. I started a blog, and I've been keeping up to date with it, and I will post it at some point. I just hope I get my happy ending one day, and that, like, I'm searching groups, and I joined loads of groups on Facebook, like Mummies to Be, and mother to mother in loads of different groups, and I was posting, sorry, I shouldn't have put makeup on. And I was posting constantly saying, anonymously, because I was embarrassed. I was embarrassed in case anyone seen it, me going through this, and I was so scared of people knowing what was happening, when really I've got nothing to be embarrassed about or scared about, because a lot of people go through this, they just don't talk about it. And I must have posted in the last 8 days, maybe once a day, asking, trying to find someone who was going through the same thing, and nobody was. Nobody had my symptoms and was still had any answers. And then I'd look on Mumsnet on the forum, and I'd post what was happening to me. And nobody had answers either. Nobody had gone through what the exact symptoms that I had, that I knew, that I could find. No one had gone and had them symptoms and still had HCG rising to say they were still pregnant. And it was breaking my heart, because I was so scared. I didn't know what was going on inside my body. I was terrified, because nobody could say, listen, it's going to be all right. No one was saying, this happened to me. I've had the injection, I've had tube removal, I had the clots, I had the cramps, and I still had rising HG, and nobody was telling me that everything worked out okay. They had different symptoms, and I didn't understand what was going on in my body, and I was like, I wish I just could see inside to see what was going on, to know that everything was going to be okay. Vienna's come to see me and said, and I'm lucky that Michael's been so supportive. He's really looked after me, like getting me medication and my hot water bottles, and really like cooking my tea, and it's just the stupid things that get you through it. Sit down, sit. And you shouldn't be scared to talk about it, because talking about it and hearing someone else has been through it helps you. There's someone that messaged me today that I've known for a lot of years, but I'm not really close to. And they were telling me they'd gone through it, and they'd had different symptoms to me, which is why they found out, but they'd still gone through it. And it really helped me, because I was thinking everything will work out how it's meant to be. And that what I'm about to go through with the injection, the chemo injection, it will work out okay. I'm just trying to say that it's okay to talk about it, and it's okay to make it so that people understand that it does happen. It's really common. I tried for 4 years. Well, 3.5. I've been with the fertility 4 years in July, and I've had, in the last 6 months, the only time I fell pregnant, and both times, first is miscarriage and second is ectopic. And obviously tomorrow at the hospital is when I'll go through the treatment for the ectopic, and it's lucky that I did see what I seen so that I could get treatment early. I want to raise awareness that it is okay to feel like this. It is okay to go through it. A lot of people do go through it and you won't realise. She just wants to, I know. But yeah, that's it. I'm going to be raising a lot of websites that are helping people that are going through this. And I'll post them all on my page. But yeah, thank you.